I was worried because the high was so good.
So the high was so good, you'd think he was partying harder than last time with Coach Greg in Mepsigram while hiding and invading from the police.
All I wanna say is thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Will Tennyson's gonna try some cocaine.
All right, what is up, everybody?
And I'm not making this shit up, but it's not actually what you're thinking. It's cocaine energy drink and other various forms of energy drinks that got banned or sued, and some even resulted in death. He's putting his body on the line. And what a body he has, I might add. Bro wanted to show his quads. I can't even be mad. Tenny! He's showing us the legs. Imagine the excitement Mike Israetel received upon watching this video in secret.
Over the next week, I'm going to be testing banned drinks to see how dangerous they really are.
Will testing banned substance. I promise he never met up with his favorite tea plug. A drink being banned in the USA is a crazy achievement, and so here's why. In Canada, we have really strict regulations. An energy drink can only contain a maximum of 180 milligrams of caffeine. That's not all that much. In the United States, it can be up to 300. But here's the hack, the shortcut, if we will, which was introduced to me by none other than, you guessed it, Mepsigram. She has 2 venti cold brews from Starbucks every single morning. And so little do they know, they're allowed to sell that. 330 milligrams per. That makes a total of 660. That is more caffeine, in fact, about double what any of these contain. And so Mepsigram, you know her drug of choice. She's hopped up on caffeine every single morning. She goes to bed dreaming about it. You were thinking she was dreaming of Coach Greg. It isn't that. She's dreaming of her venti cold brew, and it makes her literally high. Trust me guys, I've seen her. Once she gets her lips on, and no, not on me, on the venti cold brew, it changes her. Well, actually, it's on me too. I'm not gonna lie.
So you're telling me a bunch of high school kids couldn't handle 350 milligrams of caffeine?
Bro, that ain't shit. Mepsigram, she drink 2 of those. Did I not tell you she was a throat goat?
I'm no doctor, so the only thing I can say is their football team probably sucks.
Trust me, Mepsigram, she can outdrink any football team. Just give me the challenge.
There's 800 milligrams of beta-alanine here.
And listen, 800 milligrams of betaine, that ain't nothing. Full dose of hardcore pre-workout has 4,000 milligrams.
And 41,670% of my daily vitamin B12.
But 41,000% of vitamin B12? It's not necessary. Why are we putting in 41,000% of what we actually need? Do we really need 400 times more than is recommended? I don't think so.
What I'm really interested to see is the zero crash they promote on the website, but that could be because in death, you can't crash from caffeine.
Now, the reason they say zero crash is because they're allowed to. Now, technically speaking, just because you drink this drink, it's not going to cause you to get in a car accident. And so you didn't crash. The fact you're going to crash once the caffeine gets out of your system, well, they're not talking about that. And so the supplement industry, the food labeling companies, they can get away with almost anything. Kind of like how Gorilla Mind gets away with selling Turkplex without having any turkesterone. Well, they had some.
Maybe, Ellie, this is a great time to pull that up so we can actually see what's going on, because it is kind of shocking to see a product that should contain quite a lot of turkesterone, really not containing any. So, yeah.
And so if you're interested in getting actual turkesterone, remember to get it from your favorite tea plug. Remember, it's not laced with math, and it actually comes from the plant Ajuga turkestanica. I may be pushing 50. Yeah, I'm old, but I'm pushing 50 keys of turkesterone across the border. Code Greg, 15% off, money back guarantee, and a $20 gift card. Trust me, your favorite tea plug is the CEO of Goon.
And my heart rate's already at 107. I'm just standing still. I'm not even at the gym yet. That's pretty high. Oh my gosh, 107. Please go down.
I wouldn't be so worried. That's Mike Israetel every time Coach Greg releases a video. That's not a big deal. Imagine Mike Israetel after 18 seconds of going harder than last time in the bedroom, which is about half of Mike Israetel's heart rate when he finds out he lost because of his tan.
Usually when I take stuff like this, I'm like, do I feel anything? I actually feel everything.
And so Will says he can feel everything, but can he in fact feel his face? But I love it. but I love it.
Thank you, Greg.
And so in case you're wondering, this is the feeling you get when you're feeling it with a certain significant other. You can't feel your face when I'm with you. And that's the drug of choice. And many people, they refer to it as love.
What are some of the side effects of a B12 overdose? I think I'm feeling at least 3 of 5 of those, but it's a good workout, so.
Will just looks like he's having a good time. I'm gonna be honest, this looks like a fun time. And so from what I'm seeing here, people are gonna be lining up to get this illegal energy drink faster than last time.
Oh my God. I'm starting to feel very nauseous.
When you overconsume caffeine and or other stimulants, oftentimes you can get some nausea. And so let's maybe tweak it down a little bit. Let's not go over the maximum 400 milligrams in any given day. Or better yet, let's not do it all at once.
Just feeling pretty sick.
That sick feeling that I had, it didn't get any better, and I felt horrible for the rest of the day.
And so overall, the spike drink gets a 3 out of 5 rating. Remember, he felt good at the start, but he ended up having a very severe crash. He had a lot of nausea. And so although it advertises you're not going to crash, I think it's referring to crashing your motor vehicle.
Drink 2, cocaine.
And so up next, cocaine.
This is a problem.
Not a good idea to sniff creatine, nor should you be drinking cocaine.
Reason for ban, high caffeine content and glorification of a legal drug.
Did you know that back in the day, over 100 years ago, they used to put in Coca-Cola? And so imagine you're drinking your cans of Coke and you're getting high. It's very addictive. Does anyone not see the similarities between and caffeine? Yes, is not as problematic. It's not as addictive. But caffeine, it does in fact create a buzz. It does in fact get you high. I've seen Mepstagram, and when I once went on a caffeine detox for a month, I took a half a scoop of my pre-workout. I couldn't believe how I felt. I absolutely felt high. I couldn't believe it.
Cocaine, anyone? Me.
Muchas fiesta que última vez.
I don't speak Spanish!
There's 280 milligrams of caffeine in here, 90 calories, 22 grams of carbs, 19 grams of sugar, only 600% of our B12. So that's nothing compared to yesterday.
I mean, and honestly, 280 milligrams of caffeine and with the remaining ingredients, this is baby stuff. This is lightweight work. Mepstagram could drink 2 to 3 of these in a sitting.
Just smelling it, I'm getting amped. Oh man, it tastes very offensive. It tastes like a panic attack.
If the smell alone is that bad, I don't want that in my mouth. Mike Israetel, on the other hand, he loves the taste, the texture of everything from Coach Greg in his mouth. I'm talking about the Cocai bars.
Thank you, Greg.
Slightly anxious, just how normal would. I don't want to say it too loud.
Is it not funny, Will trying to be like,
This is no joke.
and so I hope you realize we're joking about this, that you actually shouldn't be doing creatine, because it almost ended Togi. You were thinking it was just Addies laced with math, but he was actually on top of that doing creatine lines, big ones. It almost ended him.
Just kind of normal energy, surprisingly, with all that caffeine. Just good focus. It just feels like a normal day.
And so for Will Tennyson, who consistently has caffeine, he promotes Tim Hortons all the time. Remember, he is, after all, Canadian. And considering he had more caffeine than this yesterday, his body is now acclimatized to it. And so the more you use said drug, the more you need to take it to get the same high. And so because of that, he's actually not feeling all that good. It's not making that big of a difference. But if Will Tennyson, for example, went a month without consuming any caffeine whatsoever and tried this, he'd be high. He would be having the time of his life, or perhaps he would be feeling nauseous and throwing up in the bathroom. And so essentially what he's saying is they call it cocaine. It's nothing like it whatsoever. He doesn't have a nosebleed. He doesn't have recurrent urges to keep doing it every 30 minutes. His downstairs is still working. He doesn't have to use harder than last time, and he's actually going to feel tired. He'll be able to go to bed that night. All the opposite of what cocaine actually does. How can you put cocaine, the name of an illicit drug, marketing it to kids as an energy drink when it's nothing like that whatsoever? And so, ban drink, don't try it.
Drink 3, Panera's charged lemonade.
Next up, the most controversial of all of them.
Reason for ban, insane caffeine content causing the drink to be linked to at least 2 deaths and a ton of lawsuits.
And so some people who drank this, they actually are no longer with us. They have several lawsuits. And remember, they didn't quite advertise it properly. Now, imagine this. You're in a restaurant and you buy unlimited refills and you're going to drink your lemonade. You're not aware that it's supercharged with tons of caffeine. And let's imagine you're just 15 years of age. You're not used to a lot of caffeine. You're thinking, yeah, I'll have 2 or 3 glasses of lemonade. And then you're no longer with us.
The thing of the charged lemonade was that it was available for free refills, just up there like that. Sugary liquid MDMA, as much as you'd like.
And so it's not quite sugar-filled MDMA. That would be a top seller. But what it is, in fact, is sugar-filled caffeine that wasn't labeled properly. And so people who are perhaps allergic to caffeine, remember, some people can't have any. Some people can't even drink a Diet Coke. These people unknowingly consuming massive amounts of caffeine, experience anxiety and so on. And so you just can't do this. And so they're no longer selling it.
Something legal from Panera. Obviously the charged lemonade is illegal, but I found the recipe online and we're gonna make it at home.
And so this is what I believe the most dangerous thing that you could do in this video. This is extremely dangerous. Guarana powder. Guarana is caffeine. In that tub is supercharged caffeine powder. It's 22% caffeine. Now, how many people do you think have an IQ below 85? 1 standard deviation below the mean. If you don't know the answer, you're probably one of them.
79!
And so let me break it down to you like this. Out of millions of people, there's a ton, thousands, that have no clue how to measure out properly, dose their caffeine measurements, and so on. And so you never know how much you're actually consuming. And so very, very easy to overdose. Case in point. Will overdoses on this product.
Only 1 gram of this thing is 220 milligrams of caffeine.
And so how many out there know if you want to have 300 milligrams of caffeine, how much would you actually measure out? Most of you don't know the answer. And how do I know that? Because I was a math teacher, taught it for 5 years. Most of you don't know how to figure out simple mathematics.
79!
And you know what's even worse than that? Most of you don't even use a scale. Your favorite T-plug carries around a pocket scale. And so, for example, salidroside, an ingredient in an upcoming pre-workout. Remember, this is nothing illegal. Of course it not. I wouldn't do that. You need to measure it. You don't just take a scoop. Oh, I know. I'll just take a scoop of it. 1 scoop. And how much would that be? 8.4 grams. 1 dose of this, 10 milligrams. And so there's 840 servings. You can take up to 15 servings safely according to science. This is 840. I'm not going to do that because my IQ isn't below 85. And so let's see what a pinch of this is. 30 milligrams, so 0.3, so 3 servings. And so if you measure things improperly, you can greatly exceed what you're supposed to be taking.
First thing that we need to do is put 1/3 of a teaspoon of the guarana powder and 1/3 of a teaspoon of the coffee extract into some water.
How many grams is 1/3 of a teaspoon? Nobody knows. And so without measuring it, you're guessing. And you know how often people mismatch a teaspoon with a tablespoon? Coach Greg, I have a cookbook and literally I've had chefs mistakenly do this multiple times. I'm like, what is wrong with this? And I'm looking at the spoon, I'm like, that's a tablespoon, it's not a teaspoon.
At home, Panera charged lemonade. Caffeine content in here, I have no idea.
And so caffeine content in here, I have no idea. Is Will Tennyson's IQ above 85? I certainly think so. So why did he measure it? Was it that hard? I bought it on Amazon for $19.99.
But I'm also worried that this guarana extract or this guarana powder is this like another level of caffeine that I'm not used to.
And so isn't it not concerning that he can't taste the guarana? He can't taste the caffeine. What if he used the wrong scoop? Do you know how easy it would be to overdose? And let me tell you about this story. A man did this. And he died. By accident, he used the wrong scoop, ended up using 20 grams of caffeine, and he died. 20 grams. 400 milligrams is the maximum safe daily dose, and he took 50 times that by accident.
I've had this much of the drink so far, and I'm feeling it a lot.
I need to teach you something right now. Always start with half. When you're experimenting with drugs, for example, caffeine is a drug, start with half. You can always add more. He could drink more of this drink, but you can't undrink it once it's been drank. And so let's say you wanted to take 200 milligrams of caffeine, but you consume 400. It's kind of hard to go back in time. You have to wait till it exits your system. But if you took only 100, you can always add 100 more. And so the safer approach is start with half. You don't know how it's going to affect you, especially when you buy something new from somebody else. So for example, when you get turkesterone from your favorite tea plug, it was tested third party and so on, and it was proven that it had 140 and 160% of label claim. That means it was overdosed. There was more in it than was expected. And so if you bought Coach Greg's turkesterone from Turk Max and so on, you would have over 100 times more turkesterone than if you bought Gorilla Mind. And so think of it, if you switch brands and you get 10, 20, or maybe 50 times more of the product that's being advertised, do you not need to know about that? And so you need to be careful. You can't just arbitrarily add in scoops of caffeine without measuring it properly because you can't go back in time.
I'm feeling so much more. Like I feel shortness of breath. I feel very tingly, jittery.
And so please stop.
Get some help.
The last thing you want to do is wake up next to some nunu with a sore derriere.
When I got home, I was curious just how much of this powder did I use, so I simulated the exact same scoop I put in my drink, and it came out to 2 grams, which is 440 milligrams of caffeine.
He doubled it by accident. Now imagine if he had used a tablespoon by accident. Instead of doing a 1/4 teaspoon, he did a 1/4 tablespoon. He would have then done over 1,300 milligrams of caffeine. That's well over a gram. That's more than even Togi was drinking with his 10 shots of espresso.
Oh, whoa!
Thank goodness he was close. It was only double. But sometimes some things, for example, if you do double, you're out of it. You wake up the next morning and you don't know what happened.
I feel so good right now. Look, I feel like I definitely did something illegal.
Will took in 440 milligrams of caffeine. Mepsogram's putting back 660. Do you now know why I call her a throat goat?
I was in the change room. This guy got too close to me. I wanted to wrestle him. It turned out it was my own shadow.
Will's in a different dimension. Was there in fact mushrooms in this drink?
This is like, I think the closest I'm gonna feel to being on gear.
And so where can people line up? Everyone's going to be wanting to take more caffeine than last time. Why do you think Mepsogram has found a hack? 2 venti cold brews.
Guys, I just realized I haven't been listening to music this entire time.
And the music, it was in his own head, and he was likely listening to this.
I like cranking my Doucette till I GO2 max. I like eating my sequel bar when I'm hungrier than last time. He's even teaching me how to cook, no matter what I took. It made me feel like I've got the look.
And so imagine when Mike Israel hears this song. Mike Israel bopping and jiving while gregging his Doucette harder than last time.
And with the way that I performed, the way that I felt in the gym, I don't think it should be banned. I think it should just be brought back, just behind the counter.
And so Will, he's a fan of the caffeine. He's like, this stuff can't be banned. We can't make this illegal. We need to bring it back behind the counter.
I was worried because the high was so good.
So the high was so good, you'd think he was partying harder than last time with Coach Greg in Mepsogram while hiding and invading from the police.
All I wanna say is thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Charge the lemonade. Free the lemonade. Free me.
And so after all of that, he gives it a 4.5-star rating. I mean, what could be 5-star? Will, I'm telling you, if you got a 4.5-star rating from simply taking in caffeine, if you were to take Hardcore 3D, it would be unreal. Now add to this pre-workout stack GO2 Max and turkesterone from the Ajuga turkestanica, the actual plant, what actually meets label claims, not like the other companies that are scamming you, but the real deal from Uzbekistan. Imagine how he would feel. He wouldn't feel his face when he's with you, and he would love it.
Drink 4, Monster Java 300. Reason for ban, caffeine content.
Yeah, I know.
A coffee trying to be seen as an energy drink? Literally everybody in 2024 is having an identity crisis.
Now, the 300 milligrams of caffeine, it is legit. It's a lot. You can't buy this in caffeine.
Now, in Canada, you cannot have a drink that's above 180 milligrams of caffeine. Yet here we have this, 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I got it on Amazon.ca.
And so Coach Greg, your favorite tea plug, smuggling testosterone across the border, but innocent old Will Tenny, he's smuggling the caffeine into Canada, breaking more laws than last time.
And the truly monstrous part about this drink is that it's 200 calories and 32 grams of sugar.
Yeah, no. Mepstagram, she's not a fan. She's not going to want to drink her sugar calories. Remember, Mepstagram slid into the DMs of Coach Greg after purchasing my cookbook. And so what was the key to her heart? Lower calorie, high protein recipes than last time. And who doesn't love that?
My girl Alpha Jody, she absolutely loves it.
Yeah, she looks like somebody that would like a 200 calorie energy coffee drink.
Shake gently. I swear, if I have chunks in mine, I'm going to throw up everywhere.
There's too much shaking going on. What is this? Mike Israetel visiting Kali Muscle, Wes Watson, and Big Boy?
Dink, 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 dink.
Usually when you have an energy drink and then you work out, your heart rate just gets out of hand, which in return gives you like shortness of breath, maybe a little bit of anxiety, but I'm not getting any of that.
Listen, use but don't abuse. There's no reason to take crazy high doses. I don't even take the maximum doses of my pre-workouts. If it says to take 3, I'll take 1.5 or 2. I don't need the maximum. But yes, it is true, when you're taking stimulants, your heart rate on average would be about 10 beats higher. So for example, if you're going and doing zone 2 cardio, a typical day, your heart rate's 120. While on caffeine, you might notice your heart rate's 130. But it shouldn't get out of hand. If you're feeling anxiety, it's not comfortable, you're feeling nausea, you need to take half the dose.
Drink 5, the most dangerous drink of them all. 5-hour energy.
So the reason why this stuff is not banned is because it's called a health shot, not an energy drink.
It's not particularly high in caffeine, and so it's simply a money grab.
200 milligrams of caffeine in here, and there's so many other things. I also can barely read it, and I don't need glasses. It's just so damn small.
And so think of it. It's 200 milligrams of caffeine in the extra strength version. This is child's play. Mepstagram late at night would be reaching for those, drinking it back and asking for more.
I don't think I've been this strong in a very long time. I feel great. It's PR after PR after PR. The bad news is my head is killing me.
And so unfortunately, with the quick amount of energy he got from 5-hour energy, he also had an immense headache, and so certainly not worth the trade-off. And so unlike the other energy drinks, this seemed to hit the quickest, but it was the fastest to go away, not even lasting the entirety of his workout.
I don't need to be the one to tell you, but we don't need energy drinks. The best cocktail we can have is equal parts a nutritious diet, lots of water, and some good quality sleep.
And so you don't need energy drinks in the same way that you don't need testosterone or GO2 max. You just want it. Code Greg, 15% off. And remember, you can get it from other people, but is it actually what you're paying for? Probably not. And so that's a no. And so if you want the real stuff, HDLT, testosterone, what I've been saying all of this time, more trust in Coach Greg than last time. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you like it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbooks, the Circle Diet Book, the training books, coaching plans by me and my team, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. And if you want the free diet and training program, it's close to 50 pages. Get to the website, join the 400,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.